Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Motors Mouth podcast. In fact, welcome back. This is our first episode in a long while, and it's good to be back, Steve Hilton.
Yeah, finally back after your little hiatus off camera.
Forced absence.
You threw me in the deep end for a number of months, but good to have you back and looking fit and well.
It's good to be back, and as we explained when we started this whole enterprise, we will be shining a light on all things Vauxhall Motors. Not necessarily just the first team, goings on around the club and whatnot. So we're at the end of a very busy January. In fact, we've been on the road in the whole month, and we're back here. At the time of recording, we're here at the Altrincham game in the Cheshire Senior Cup. So hopefully there are no major goal of the season or goal of the month contenders.
Yeah, no worldies and no outstanding man of the match performances, because it'll just put a bit of a blur over our schedule and results for them two awards.
Well, if there are any of those worldies or man of the match performances, they will be included in hopefully next month's episode. But we'll look back at January first. And Steve, have you got any particular highlight of the month that has just passed us?
Obviously, Wythenshawe, massive game. Going away to someone who was, I think they were joint with us on points at the time. So obviously going away there, difficult conditions can bring that result back. But I just want to go back to the end of 2022, where the game against AFC Liverpool on Boxing Day, I thought the first half performance was outstanding. We were 2-0 up and cruising, and then we eventually lost that game. But to bounce back in January the way we have, we've had a couple of postponements, but the way we've bounced back has just shown a sign of a really great team and squad that Mick McGrath's building.
So as you've just referenced, the 2022 portion of the season ended on a bit of a disappointing note, and Mick McGrath was quite scathing of his team's performance in that second half. But they immediately had the chance to bounce back in the Cheshire Senior Cup second round, a competition that they had some success, or quite a lot of success in last season. Away at Alsager Town, horrendous conditions, but a thoroughly professional performance and some incredible goals. Yeah, 3 incredible goals.
It was a sweet day for myself as well, with a young Lucas Allen, who were brought over to the club for initially the under-18s 18 months ago. So it was great to see Lucas make
he pulled off a great save.
It's great save, second half, yeah. So he's 18 years of age, making his debut. Horrendous conditions, weren't the greatest pitch, but it's good to get that first appearance under his belt. So it was great to see that. But yeah, the 3 goals in the first half, it was hard to pick. There was one really special one, but the other two would win a goal of the month for most of the occasions. But there was one really special strike. But first half again, I thought we were outstanding first half, and after he had a bit of a go, and then we got a grip of the game and scored 3 outstanding goals to put us out of sight really in the first half.
So, as Steve's just teased, you will probably see a lot more of those goals in this episode, but we'll move on. And there were a couple of postponements along the way, which sort of halted any sort of momentum against Bury AFC here at the Van Eupen Arena and away at Winsford, which was a very disappointing day because we actually arrived at Winsford, and through floodlight failures and maybe other circumstances, that game had to be postponed.
Well, it was electrical failure, wasn't it?
A complete wholesale.
And the disappointing part, we were waiting for the game to start, and we knew it was going to be delayed. About 3 o'clock, we were in position, weren't we? And I said, right, I'll go and get the food in. So I went round and ordered both of us a burger and chips, and to be told that the electric had gone off again and the burgers were half cooked. So even the food. But yeah, it was a frustrating day. I think the game should have been cancelled as soon as we got there. It was no sign that was going to go on. The pitch was terrible anyway. I know other days the referee would have cancelled it anyway, but it was just a bit of a nightmare of a wasted afternoon for us with that one. We didn't even get fed.
Well, that game has been rearranged for sometime in February, I believe the 13th, which is a Monday night.
Monday night, yeah.
So we'll see you at Winsford on the 13th of February. After that, it was the much anticipated top of the table clash with Wythenshawe Town. And Wythenshawe had actually gone above Vauxhall, I think, at this point.
Yeah.
So it was a massive game, Tuesday night, freezing conditions in Wythenshawe, and it was a pretty uneventful game. Just the 5 red cards, but another outstanding result for the Motors.
Credit to Wythenshawe as well to get that game on,
There was loads of doubts.
Yeah, I mean, I was saying all day that's not going to be on that. It's going to be too frosty. Bonard got there, and the groundsman had done a great job. The pitch was playable, and then we had a couple of snow flurries. And I said at half time, if this carries on during the half break, it might be in danger. But that luckily at the stop. But they had a bit of a go. Kieran's made a great save first half with his feet, and then we've just grew into the game. And great first half performance. Berkey with a vital goal, another vital goal. Lewis Buckley,
the non-league Erling Haaland,
just doing what he does. Bang, first time, bottom corner. Just a great goal scorer. His goal scorer, he's like similar to like Ian Rush finish. He didn't have to break the back of the net. He was like passed the ball into the net, and we were flying at 2-0 half time.
And then Ben Kelly added a third to make a brilliant away trip for the Motors. Now we come to my highlight of the month. Now this was an away game that I originally anticipated as a bit of an arduous trip. The trip to Isle of Man to face FC Isle of Man, and it was just a thoroughly enjoyable weekend in Douglas, exploring the island and just being around members of the first team, you know, in a more personal setting, and people who had travelled and all the ultras had travelled. But on the pitch, it was that man again, Michael Berkey, who was the difference maker, scoring 2 really well-made goals.
Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't make the trip, just the work commitments and whatever. But when I looked at some of the footage on social media and the highlights went up, I was a bit gutted that I missed out, because it did look like a good laugh, and I've heard some of the stories which unfortunately we can't go into because kids might be watching. But
those who know.
Yeah, those who know. But yeah, it looked like a great trip. It's one of them things that you don't get to do so often being in the Northwest Counties. But on a flight over, it's like a European away trip, isn't it? Even though it's only 40 minutes, but it looked like a great day. By all accounts, with Isle of Man put a great hospitality on for the team, and really looked after everyone from the playing staff to the committee to the media side. So 3-0 win again. It's just another great performance. So back to what Mick McGrath said after the Tuesday in Windsor, the Windsor result meant nothing unless they go to the Isle of Man and get another 3 points, which they did.
Now, as you just said then, following up or backing up a performance is of the utmost importance. The week with the Alsager Town game and the FC Isle of Man game was probably the most pivotal week of the season so far. But Vauxhall nearly didn't capitalise on that good form away at Ashton. It was a bit of a wretched game in Greater Manchester, but the Motors just can't be stopped at the minute. No,
you look at the stats, and I said this pre-match, I think they conceded 69, I was actually wrong, it was 71 by the time we played them, I think. But I did say, get the 3 points, get the win under the belt first, and hopefully we can build on a goal difference. But it was a potential banana skin. They come here, we only beat them 1-0 with a Tom Mitchell header. Now, after that game, looking back, how they've only got that number of points, I don't know, because they give a good showing for themselves.
They definitely didn't look bottom of the table.
No, they had and you did come out the blocks, they'd have a good blast and try and get an early goal, which they did. But, they ran, they seem like the energy they had in them. And, I felt for them a bit because I think they deserve something out of the game, definitely. But, like you say, it shows signs of a great team when you can get them last minute mentality monster goals, and get the finish from Lewis Buckley. It's just, again, first time, one touch, passing into the back of the net, knows where his corners are, and it was just we were down the side with some of the committee members like the legend Tom Mathers and Lenny and Colin, and everyone was jumping around. So it's great to witness them types of moments where you're winning 3 points, and like I said, we're going into the business end of the season now, so that could be vital. 2 points that we've just gained there on Saturday. And
Lewis Buckley, in fact, might be disappointed he didn't get a hat-trick on the day, because he missed a great chance down there, which on any other day he would have slotted.
Yeah, I think he's just got a bit too much on it, hasn't he? He's put it through past the near post. But yeah, he could have easily had 3.
So that's January for the Motors, 4 wins. And top of the table by 7 points now, I believe.
Yeah.
Nice little gap to Wythenshawe in second.
And that's only because Wythenshawe come from 4-1 down against Longbridge on Saturday with 3 late goals, I think.
I think results have gone Vauxhall's way as well. Avro and AFC Liverpool took points off each other, and Wythenshawe themselves haven't been in the greatest of form.
No.
So the month will round out with the visit of Altrincham in the Cheshire Senior Cup quarter-final, but now the Motors will head into a very pivotal, or equally pivotal, February, heading into the business end of the season. Now, a player who actually was integrated into the side in the month of January, new signing James McCulloch, has hit the ground running and has formed a very decent partnership with Marcus James in the absence of Tom Mitchell. We spoke to him and see how he's settling in at the club.
So James, how's your time at Vauxhall Motors so far?
I've really enjoyed my time so far. I've only been here for a couple of weeks. I think I've only completed 2 or 3 training sessions so far. Plenty of games. All the lads made me feel really welcome. I'm enjoying my time. I think there's a really good group of lads here. I'm really looking forward to the rest of the season.
How did the move come about?
It was out the blue, to be honest. Left witness, and I was thinking I was going to have some time off over Christmas when Mick just got in touch, messaged me, spoke to me. I was quite excited about the project, and I thought, yeah, let's get involved. I knew Luke Buckley from Prescott, so I knew him and it was a familiar face, and I thought, yeah, let's give it a go.
You picked a good time to join the club.
It couldn't be better, really, could it? I think sometimes it's always difficult going into a winning dressing room. Top the league, lads may be questioning why they brought myself in. Everyone's doing well, good competition for places. I think with my experience, it's good for me to come in and just help the lads and hopefully see them over the line at the end of the season.
What was it like joining the club during the season and mid-season? How difficult was it?
It's tough. Everyone's sort of established their positions, their partnerships. I think I was really fortunate when I come in. The first game was against Wythenshawe, and fortunate for me, Mitch got himself sent off, so it meant I could get a little bit of game time nice and early. But the lads have made it an absolute breeze, to be honest. It's been really easy to come in, been really welcoming, and it's been really nice.
And your debut, a relatively uneventful game against Alsager Town, 5 red cards, must have been fun.
I know it was top of the table clash, wasn't it? I think at the time they were top, and we were just behind. The lads put in a great performance. First half just controlled the game, nullified their threats, and then second half you could see that their lads sort of, their heads were going a little bit. The crowd were getting on the back and trying to wind our players up. So it was an interesting first game, 5 red cards. I tried to go on and settle the game down, and I think 2 more got sent off when I come on, so didn't do that quite successfully. But yeah, I really enjoyed it.
And you formed a pretty tidy centre-back partnership with Marcus James in the last 2 games against Ashton Athletic and the Isle of Man. How has it been playing alongside them?
It's been comfortable, really. I've slipped in there, and I think Mark is experienced just as I am. And you just get on with things. Between us, we've got to try and continue to keep clean sheets. And on on Saturday in Ashton, didn't do that. I didn't think we were at the races all over the park. I think it wasn't a great performance, but times like these, doesn't matter how you get 3 points. 3 points on a board at the end of the season, they all count. Doesn't matter how they come.
You got the 3 points. How confident are you and the team going in that the season is going to be that's going to end on a successful note?
I mean, you'd like to think it is going to be positive, but all we can do as a team, as a squad, as a full group, the supporters, is keep looking 1 game ahead. We can't get too carried away with ourselves. Take each game as it comes. Every game's the biggest game of the season, and if we keep getting the 3 points, that's all we can do. And come the end of the season, we'll be thereabouts.
So now that's one player who had a pivotal involvement in the month of January, but now we're going to come to a very important part of the show. It's the Player of the Month award for January, and we actually had quite a bit of debate over this.
There was some WhatsApp messages going backwards and forwards. I wasn't too happy. I'm not going to say that because it sounds like I'm against who won it. I'm not. It's just football's about opinions. That's all I'm going to say. Discussions were had. It was close. It was only between the 3 players I think that we all picked, and but yes, it was all worthy winners. But there's obviously one that won it.
And there were plenty of candidates for this award, but we've managed to narrow it down to 3. So let's take a look at who they are.
Cold at the touch, dead in the eyes, no signs of life no more. I put your love under the knife. Leave me to die here all alone. No signs of life no more, no. A crying dove may never fly. It's black and white. Yeah. Black and white. Oh, 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 oh. It's black and white. No more. Love, no more, baby. Black and white, no more, baby. Love, no more, baby. It's black and white, just let me go. It's only right for all I know. It's only matter. It's calico, it's black and...
So, Steve, do you want to announce who this month's Player of the Month?
Yeah, this month's for Player of the Month for the Motors Mouth podcast for January is Marcus James. So well done, Marcus.
A really underrated player in my book, and I always go back to that tackle he made at Wythenshawe.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we were 2-0, or maybe even 3-0 at the time, but he put his body on the line, came out of nowhere with an incredible last-ditch tackle, and I couldn't stop talking about it.
Yeah, no, it was a great tackle. I mean, you know, and I think it was 3-0. Even if it goes 3-1, them type of goals can change games. But he just took everything, didn't he? You know, there's no old bars. He just comes bang right through, and it was like that sound like shin pad on shin pad as well, or something. That he made it. Oh, it sounds a bit naughty that, but he clearly won the ball when you look at the footage back, and it was a great tackle.
And I think it's testament that he's the one mainstay, or has been the most consistent.
Yeah, I've said in games. I think it was away at Northwich Vicks, and it was like a magnet to the ball, his head. Just winning everything. But yeah, no, rightly winner. Like you say, he's forging, decent partnership with whoever he plays with. Obviously, Tom Mitchell's suspended at the moment, but yeah, no, I think it's credit where credit's due.
So well done to Marcus James. Let's hear what the man has to say about earning the Motorsmouth Podcast Player of the Month award for January. So I'm here with the Motorsmouth Podcast January Player of the Month, Marcus James. Marcus, congratulations. Thank you. Congratulations on a terrific month for yourself. How do you feel the month's gone for you and for the team?
Yeah, it's gone really well. I've had a few injuries, November, December, so to get a good run of games, it's been good for me. A few clean sheets and all that's been brilliant. And Shaw Berkey might have something to say about not getting the award.
There was much debate about it.
I made up.
You've had a few different partners as well through the months. You had Tom Mitchell and James McCulloch, who's just come into the side. What's that like being the one mainstay in the back line?
It's great, but it doesn't matter who plays. All the lads have got real experience between us, and we all play pretty similar ways. So whoever comes in, it's pretty easy to adapt.
Is being top of the table evidence of that people can just come in and nothing seems out of place?
Yeah, it's massive, and we all get along really well, even though there's 4 or 5 lads that can play centre half. And we're happy for each other when everyone's playing well, so that helps massively. There's no rift in the change rooms or anything like that.
And it must be massive recognition for you that you got Player of the Month in the month that we played Wythenshawe away and the FC Isle of Man, because that was a pivotal week.
Yeah, that's where I feel I played my best game 4 box rolls in the Wythenshawe match. Been getting myself fit since New Year, trying to get in better shape. So yeah, I made up.
There was a moment in the Wythenshawe game that I couldn't stop talking about. You made a tackle deep in the second half. We went 2-0 up. I think we went on to score the third from your tackle.
Yeah.
I couldn't get over it. I couldn't stop talking about it. So, congratulations, Marcus. Player of the month for January.
Thank you.
It's up to you now to get February's player of the month.
Cheers, mate.
Thanks, Marcus. So, another player who was introduced to Mick McGrath's starting 11, in fact, he's returning to the side after playing a pivotal role last season, is goalkeeper Kieran O'Loughlin. Now, just a quick insight, Steve, what must it be like for a goalkeeper to come in mid-season to a successful team?
Obviously, he's played here last season for most part and done really well. Kieran's never ever let us down. And I was talking to Neil Matheson, the goalie coach, about this a few weeks ago. He's never ever let us down when he come in last season. So it would have been slightly easier because he knows a lot of the players. Obviously, we've brought 1 or 2 in, but Mick knows him well. So it wouldn't have been as daunting as if he was a brand new player. But again, he's not let us down. He made 2 vital saves against Wythenshawe with his feet, 1 on each half. He's dependable. You know, he's got a good kick on him. He talks. He's not scared of telling people what he thinks. He's a good lad as well. So it's great to see him back around the club, and hopefully he can go on and be part of this title-winning side.
Well, Kieran's actually the subject of a new segment for us called Player in Focus, where we focus on what a player does around the pitch. You know, they might not be in the thick of the action, but they're definitely, you know, scanning and making sure that they're in the right positions. So we put a camera on Kieran at the game at Wythenshawe, and this is what it looks like.
It's good to be back, yeah. It's joined around the same time last year. Yeah, it's very good to be back. Just a few conversations with Mick, really. The reason why I didn't stay on last season was because of work commitments, and I just felt it was the right time to come back, really, and start playing Saturdays again. Couldn't have come back at a better time, to be honest. All the pressures on your shoulders, like coming back into it, but it's something I'll relish, and hopefully that we can push on and go for the league. I think this year they just got like a little, that's something different that gets you over the line. I think the squad is a lot better than it was, and I think they just got that winning mentality, and they look like good enough, very good enough. Very confident, yeah, 100%. Got all the faith in the world. Otherwise, I don't think I'd come back if I thought we'd drop off. I think there's a real chance that we can do something special here this year.
Black and white.
So, from goalkeepers to goal scorers. Now, we've already referenced that there are some Goal of the Month nominees just from the one game, or in the first half, against Alsager Town. But let's have a look at the contenders for Goal of the Month.
Cold at the touch, dead in the eyes. No signs of life no more. I put your love under the knife. Leave me to die here all alone. No signs of life no more, no. A crying dove may never fly.
Now, there wasn't much debate between Steve and I for our choice of Goal of the Month, but we still had to discuss the merits of each one because they were fantastic goals. And we'll start with Lewis Buckley's first nomination in this against Alsager Town.
Yeah, I referenced it as very similar to the Luke Shaw against Italy in the Euro final for England.
Good comparison.
So, yeah, I mean, it was a important goal. It put us 1-0 up. Like I say, Alsager had come out and had a bit of a go in the Cheshire Cup, which we want to do well in because we've done so well in it last year. But it's a great ball over the far post, and he's just caught it sweet, hasn't he? And just put it right in the roof of the net. Great finish, but that's what he does.
Now, that was followed up by a set piece, a free kick from Ben Holmes, and it was a pretty spectacular effort.
Yeah, it's one of them. Ben's just probably said to the top corner, "Don't move, I'll find you," and he's put it right in there. You don't score many of them. But he's got it in his locker, Ben. He's got a great strike on him. But the keeper's getting nowhere, just waved at it, and probably all of 30 yards out. And, it's a great moment when you score them. Not that I've ever scored any, but I've waved at a few, but...
And we actually have a defender on this list, amazingly. Same game, Alsager Town. Ethan Goulbourne, right before the half-time whistle. It was a great left foot finish for a right-sided defender.
Yeah, again, Ethan got a bit of a nosebleed getting that high up. He was cut inside, and he just had a swing with the swinger, and it's gone in the keeper's right-hand top corner. And I think we said straight away, I'll have to text his dad, which I thought Ronnie was in Taiwan at the time, his dad, but he weren't. I think he was in Holland or somewhere, but we had a good laugh about it. But yeah, it was a great finish by Ethan.
Our next nominee is Michael Berkey. I know he scored 2 against FC Isle of Man, but we've gone for his first one. He brilliantly shrugged off the defender, cut inside and slotted one underneath the goalkeeper. It was a really tidy finish.
Yeah, I think, like I say, I didn't get to the Isle of Man, but by all accounts, they had a bit of a good goal. Well, they had a good goal, didn't they, the first 20 minutes or so, but that goal was important, just settling us down and, taking a lead, which we obviously built on. So, yeah, it was a very important goal from Berkey. And
we rounded out with a goal that happened just a few days ago from time of recording. Lewis Buckley, of course, with that last minute, 92nd minute winner against Ashton Athletic. It was a tidy finish, but perhaps the stakes of it outweigh its quality. Yeah, he was just calm, wasn't he? Just like Berkey's found him. I mean, he started to move off initially down the right. Berkey's got it. He's cut it back. He's held his run on the edge of the area. Berkey's found him. The pitch weren't the greatest. A lot of rain. It's probably cut up. It was like 95th minute. But just to caress the ball, like I said before, he's like similar to like Ian Rush, where he doesn't have to blast it, he can find the bottom corner, and that's what he's done. So important, and I think, could be vitally important for us, for them. They basically won us 2 points with the last kick of the game. We might look back on it and think that was where the season with the definitely. So as you can tell, we have discussed this, but there is really one standout candidate, which might be a bit controversial actually. But our goal of the month decided is Ben Holmes. Ben Holmes. Alsager Town. So let's have another look at that goal. So I'm joined by the man who was awarded January's goal of the month for the Moses Man podcast, Ben Holmes. Ben Holmes, congratulations. Thanks for you. Well done. Now let's talk about the goal. It was a free kick, which is controversial in itself, getting goal of the month, but it was about 30 yards out and top corner. Yeah. Must be sweet. That was good, yeah. I don't know, 10 minutes earlier. Keeper saved well, so I thought I'd try and look again. Worked this time. And in that game against Alsager Town, there were 3 goal of the month contenders, and yours came out on top, so everyone else must be a bit bitter about that. Yeah, of course, yeah. Lots of rubber in the faces when I see them. And just in general, the whole month of January has been brilliant for the team. I mean, we turned the corner, I think. A bit of a sticky patch just before Christmas. Came out well. A couple of wins, hopefully win tonight against Altrincham, keep the run going. And you followed up the week against Wythenshawe and FC Isle of Man with a comeback against Ashton Athletic, and you got yourself another goal. Yeah. So that was arguably more important than the other two. 100%, yeah. I mean, them types of matches win your leagues, and we could have came away with a draw there, and luckily we won. Teams behind us dropping points, so helped us massively. So now the challenge for you, Ben, is to go and get February's goal of the month. Try my best, yeah. Congratulations, Ben. Mate. Well done. So Ben passed the challenge of a 30-yard free kick, which is probably more in his wheelhouse than the next challenge, because it is the return of mini motors, where Ben Holmes will face the biggest grilling of his life from 2 Vauxhall youth players.
Yeah. I love this section. Just brings the kids involved, and I think the players will be coming to it thinking, "Oh, they're not going to be nothing." But there's, like you say, there's a few curveball questions in there. There's just the ones that make you got to think on the spot, and it does baffle a few players. So I'm sure he'll have some great fun with that.
Let's see how he got on.
What's your name?
What's my name? Ben Holmes.
What position do you play?
Play centre mid or on the wing. Usually centre mid now though.
Are you related to
Sherlock.
Sherlock?
I might be able to do some digging for you. Possibly, yeah.
Do mermaids have babies or lay eggs?
Lay eggs.
What animal is the biggest party animal?
Giraffe.
Are you any good?
I used to be, not anymore.
If you were a fruit, what fruit will you be?
A kiwi.
Who's the worst dressed in the team?
Joey, I'd say. Sorry, Joe.
Do you think that Vauxhalls will win the league?
Yeah.
Are you married?
No.
McDonald's are bigger kings.
McDonald's. Definitely.
Does pineapple belong on pizza?
Definitely not.
What car do you drive?
A Vauxhall.
Night in with your bird or night out with the boys?
Night in with me bird.
If you were in a
If you were in a tag team wrestling match, which teammate would be your partner? Hayden, definitely Hayden.
what smells better, fresh cut grass or fresh baked bread?
Baked bread.
Who's better?
Gerrard or De Bruyne? Steven Gerrard. Miles better.
What's your favourite film?
Happy Gilmore.
Best footballing.
Best footballer moments. Probably getting promoted during COVID.
Is cereal soup?
No.
Do you think that aliens exist?
There's a few in our team, so yeah.
So that's pretty much it. That's a wrap for episode 3 of the Motors Mouth podcast. It's great to be back. It's a great show. And the Motors have got, well, the work never stops. They've got some really pivotal games coming up, starting this Saturday. Another away trip to Prestwich Hayes.
Yeah, it's getting the business end. I always say the business end's 10 games, but 15 to go. Mick's got a points tally target that he wants to get to, that he thinks he will win as the league. I think our main rivals are Bury.
They're coming up on the rails.
Yeah, well, they're still in the Vars as well, which I think I'm happy for them to stay in the Vars as long as they can, because that's going to take the focus off, because when they start getting Wembley jingles, that's when they might take the foot off the ball. But they keep on winning the games in hand. All we can do is keep on stretching that lead. A couple of teams falling off, but we've got some massive games. Prestwich away Saturday. We've got Barnolds work. We've got a massive game at Congleton towards the end of the month away. That'll be a big one, because they're not out of it.
They're doing pretty good.
Yeah,
At the moment.
but you know, we've got 3 away, 3 home. I wouldn't even want to put a target on what we can get. You know, you'd want to win all your home games, and you know, a couple on maybe drop point in 1 away. But this team can win every game. I've just got a feeling this season. I've got a feeling.
Something's brewing. Definitely something brewing. And by the time we come back for the next episode, the landscape could be completely different. So we'll be 1 month closer to the end of the season, and we hope to see you next time. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.